ready for phase one?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is Team Stealth Rocks, and we know that it is the only move that matters.
The best move in the game. So, guys, what's going on? NPBL Recap Week 1. It's excessive. It's Marv. We're coming at you with some hot takes. We're going to be scalding and merciless this entire video. No mercy, right, Marv?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to be actually not like that at all. But how was your weekend? You had a good weekend?
I had a great weekend. It's been good. I actually had a little personal issue with some pipes freezing in my house here. It's cold up here in the Midwest, but yeah, other than that, doing well. How about you?
Good. It's -1, -2 degrees today as well. So it's been a little chilly here in Michigan. So I don't know, man. It's a rough life sometimes. But hey, we're inside. We're warm. We're talking about Pokemon. Could you ask for something else?
Absolutely not excessive. Absolutely not. Beautiful day.
There we go. All right, you want to hop into these game reviews?
Let's get it.
Let's get started here. All right, guys, game reviews coming at you. Week 1 had some interesting games. Let's start off with we're going to work from top to bottom. Let's start off with your thoughts on the Detroit, yours truly, versus Chicago Chatbots in a pretty interesting game, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think the key to the game really was, Ivan really surprising us all by bringing one of the most effective sets with that Scarf Weavile. A little bit unfortunate with the predictions made, but had, he clicked another button or two, this could have been an entirely different game.
I agree with you for the most part. I will give Ivan credit where credit's due. That was the best Weavile set he could bring, in my opinion. I spent a decent amount of time prepping for this game, and Adamant Scarf was a nightmare, and he brought Adamant Scarf. So, Ivan, if you're listening, good prep, man. If you can bring that kind of, prep each week, that'll carry you pretty far in the league, in my opinion.
As well as having Lord Chatot.
That is true. Burn Chatot. I'm surprised I didn't get more flack for that one, honestly. Have you had the time to watch the video? I think you're like the one person who hasn't had the time to watch the YouTube video. You've given me zero feedback.
I have not. It's been a crazy weekend here.
I 100% understand, man. Yeah, the last thing I want to say about the game, it was tight. It was a fun one to play. Like, it was my first live com ever, and after watching it back once or twice, that was surprising that I actually put some coherent thoughts together. Sometimes I would just get flumped. You could tell I was trying to focus on too many things at once. I will agree. If Ivan hits more predictions, this game's a lot tighter, but I don't think it's as simple as if he gets, if he clicks Icicle Crash instead of Knockoff, he wins the game type kind of predictions. It's,
sure,
with him locking himself into ice moves, like my Excelgor was like spec to live ice moves, so even Excelgor could come in and threaten stuff. So it would have been an interesting game to say the least, and it would have been much tighter. But 3-0 win for me with the ice team. I have Rich next week. That's going to be a pretty tough game, but first time I've ever actually playing Rich. We've done mocks and stuff together, and it's always been fun. But yeah, interested to play Rich for the first time, and we'll see how that goes. Anything else you want to say about the Chicago-Detroit game before we move on? Big rivalry right there. Detroit taking on Chicago.
Absolutely, and I just want to say that Detroit, usually gets the better outcome of that rivalry, and it happened again this past week. So yeah, but very good game. That was a good one there for sure.
All right, moving on to Pittsburgh, Lincoln Lanterns. The second member of Team Stealth Rocks also putting up the second largest victory, but I think that 4-0 was a little deceiving because this was a very good game, a very tight game.
Yeah, going into it, I seriously thought that I was going to lose this game. I really fear Adam as a competitor there, and he brought that Zapdos, and I knew that was going to be a big problem, and it just came in every single time on my Scizor, and you could even, if you rewatch the battle, I don't think I clicked U-turn once with that Scizor just because of that darn thing. I hate that. It's so bad.
I agree. It was.
But I had to worry about Scald Burns instead, but I worked around it.
You did. I will admit, this is one of those games that I feel like a season or two ago Marv would lose because you'd be like, well, I'm unlucky. I'm not meant to win. I'm going to throw this away. But you kept calm. you stayed cool, you executed your game plan, and it worked to perfection. It was one of the more impressive wins this week, probably the second best game in my opinion, and maybe the most impressive win from your standpoint because you worked that game and you worked for that win. You just freaking got in the mosh pit and just grinded a game out against Adam. And again, like we said, Adam's a great competitor, one of the best in the league in my opinion. So solid win versus him. I guess without obviously you don't want to help your best competition, but any general feedback for Adam about that game? Because I
Um,
think I have
sure.
I have like a small piece of advice maybe, for him. And I think Shaman might have even mentioned it in his PR.
I would just say I don't know with the Zapdos. I felt like it really. I don't remember it really clicking any offensive moves. I mean, you could have clicked a Heat Wave or a Thunderbolt. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember right offhand, but just in general, being more offensive, you kind of had the early momentum, first 7 or 8 turns in the match, and then I don't know if you would have just kept your foot on the gas pedal. I don't have any like specific things, but just kind of a
yeah.
general. I was able to kind of switch and maneuver my way around back into the match. And I refused to let those stealth rocks go down. They went down. I got them right back up. Best move in the game.
I think I agree with you. I think that's pretty much my exact assessment. I think Adam is at his scariest when he like applies like there's a balance between being you have to have a good wall core. I think I run a relatively comparing me to you, I'm more a defensive player compared to you. Your setup, I'm more like balanced the setup approach. Like I beat Ivan because I had a Roost Hydreigon this week. There's a balance between being defensive and offensive. Sometimes Adam gets in his own way and plays too defensive. Like he's like so afraid of making a mistake or so afraid of getting a prediction wrong. It feels like that sometimes he leaves the door open for you to get back in the game, and you took advantage of that. So you get credit for here as well. I'm not saying Adam played poorly. I think he played relatively well, but I just think a generalized statement. With this all being said, I think you would agree you have to play how you're comfortable, and we're not saying Adam next week bring no walls and only set up. Like there's a balance. I definitely think that, but I think sometimes maybe versus Marv, me, or just big games in general, you get a little timid and passive instead of going for the throw. Except when you play Lando, you freaking love to beat Lando. At least last season, that was one of the best wins. But anyways, I guess anything else you want to say before we move on to the Leafeons Canton game?
Let's move on.
All right, Lexington Leafeons, Eisenide, his glorious return to the league versus Rich, the new guy. This is a tight one. It was a very, very, very close game. Probably the second closest in terms of differential and HP. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Eisenide had this, with I think it was 3-1 at one point. And I almost turned the like closed the recording. I was like, I've seen this show before. It's Megalodios. This game's over. But yeah, Canton man, Rich closed it out, a tight one.
Yeah, not much to really say about this except that Rich played really offensively, and somehow a Lycanroc kind of shut the door on Eisenite. I was really surprised. I love my boy Rich, but I thought he was going down to the Megalodi and Eisenite's Leafeon's team. But I don't know. He played well. He prepped well in knowing that his Lycanroc could put in work, and props to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Eisenide mentioned he might put up like a post com video, and I'd be really interested to see the post com just to see his sets and stuff because it um it's
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
to tell if it was like did he like I think Shaman kind of put it as Eisenide lost the game and Rich didn't win the game, which I don't know if it's fair. I don't know anything about Eisenide's prep, his sets, his plays. Like we don't know like if he was worried about something else. So the Latios set was geared. Which one is he? He's Latios.
Latios.
He's the broken one. Um,
Third. Wait. Who we talking? Eisenite's got Latias, and Rich has the Latios.
triggered. Anyways, so maybe the set was geared towards something else. But yeah, I'd be interested to see the thoughts on this one. But a solid game. I think both these competitors are playoff caliber teams. They might not be staples in the playoffs like some of the other teams in the league, but they're both high quality, high caliber players. And I'm interested to see who they play. Um, Who do you have next week? Do you have Eisenite next week, or am
I
I
do
missing?
play
You
Eisenhower,
do play
yeah.
Eisenite. That
He's
should
got a
be.
scary team.
He does. He does. And he's creative, man. He brings. He's not afraid to bring his lower tier mon and bring the heat. So it should be an interesting game next week. But yeah, not really a huge amount to say with the post com. Solid play. I don't have any glaring things I hated about the play. The mistakes might have been made here or there, but I think
It's
people
a
always
really
make
entertaining
mistakes.
game. It kind of just a fast paced like roller coaster,
Yeah, for
so
sure, for sure.
for shizzle.
Mm, Up
Yeah,
next, the
yeah.
go ahead and lead us in this next game. So I know you have some good thoughts on this game.
Nah, you got this. You got this.
Okay, so uh, we got our boy Gumi, the Rabambes versus the new guy Shy Crow, Gothberg Murkrows. A 0-2 win, a very. If I guess if I'm not trying to be mean to anyone besides TP, probably the worst. Like there were some weird head scratching plays in this game from Gumi, and not necessarily in a bad way. We don't know how much time or prep or what was in his thoughts, but there was definitely. I've seen Gumi at his best, and this was nowhere near what I think Gumi can perform on the in battles. So um, I'll let you talk about kind of the Mew plays a little bit. Uh, you know, yeah, we'll have you
Yeah,
talk about
sure.
Mew, then we'll go from there a little bit.
Well, first off, I do want to congratulate Gumi on using Mew pretty darn well as far as using that focus blast and actually connecting and picking up a KO there. But then with Shy Crow pretty confidently brings in that crook, and you see that it's not intimidate, so it's got that moxie. Commonly run with that Scarf Moxie. He's going to revenge that Mew. You want to keep your Mew around. I mean, Mew's one of the greatest weapons in all of draft format. That is true. You got to keep your Mew around there. You have your Ferrothorn kind of come in and take that, take that incoming knockoff from the Crook.
Yeah,
And not trying to be like critical or like harsh or whatever, but like just trying to point out some things maybe to reflect on, just to kind of do better next time. But I did notice that in the game, and let's also talk about that Ferrothorn putting in work.
for sure,
Um,
for sure. Fairthorn, the Fairthorn Gyro Ball set was going to be an issue, and I think Gumi realized it was a good opportunity for him to have one of his more traditionally defensive Pokemon really damage that team. The Murkrows are pretty quick, and the team he brought has a high speed tiering, and then couple that with being weak to steel types was going to be trouble for a lot of his team. Um, but yeah, just to kind of if Gumi you're watching this video and you're trying to Gumi strikes me again. I've never really spoken to Gumi in detail about his relationship with Mons, but I think that's a good teaching moment. Is there's three flags right there that should make you be like, wait, what's going on here? You've seen the Crook come in. You showed Focus Blacks. Crook still came in. It
right.
didn't show Intimidate, so you can assume, okay, if it's not Intimidate, it's Moxie or Anger Point. But I think Anger Point's his other ability. But most likely, it's not Intimidate, which is like, this is probably more offensive. And he's seen the Focus Blast, or as you call it, Focus Miss, so he knows it's coming in. So alarm bells should be going off in your head and be like, wait, there's something wrong here. I have the opportunity to KO this, but you know, maybe in Gumi's thought is what I think he thought
Maybe
was he didn't know
like
at max speed I can outspeed it, but the way that he it's early in the game, that was his first switch into Mew, so that makes me think he's set up to KO you either with like a Focus Sash, a Berry, it's a trap set, or he's scarfed, or and sometimes you have to take that role, and maybe he's bluffing you, or maybe you made a read that he was going to read you. But I agree. So
yeah,
learning moment
perhaps
for everybody. I think solid win for the Murkrows. Gumi's going to bounce back. I have good confidence in Gumi. Think he plays TP next week, and we can cover TP in this next slide here. Are you ready to move on?
I just want to say one thing.
Go
Like,
ahead. Sorry.
perhaps he was kind of thinking like it was like a banded pursuit kind of thing going on, or perhaps he
Fair enough.
predicted him to overpredict, maybe going for stealth rocks.
Yo, that's
There were some opportunities, but
you know what? That's
other thoughts.
100% fair. With hindsight bias, we're all like, Gumi, why? That's I didn't think about it like that way, Marv, till you just said that. That's a very good point. Hey, he might try to get up free rocks here. That's the best move in the game. I should try to stop that. Hey,
Hmm.
maybe this is pursuit trapping me, and if I switch out, I'm going to die. So, you know, credit where credit's due. Maybe Gumi's on such a higher level that we're like, oh my gosh, when he's thinking like 3 steps ahead. So that's fair to Gumi.
Absolutely.
And I guess let's mention with Shy Crow, the
GG to Shicro for
yeah,
sure.
Alakazam put in work at the end there. That was, Alakazam. I've never actually seen it drafted in
I
other.
need to draft this thing sometime.
It's
Could
fast,
be.
dude, and it hits hard. It's scary. And with Trace, like I'm starting to kind of get worried about Trace a little bit. So we'll see here. Um, you
All
want
right,
to move
let's
on?
move on here.
This Shaman Skies versus the Massachusetts Metapods. Biggest, most boring game of the week. No offense to TP. Uh, Shaman came with solid play and solid prep. Kind of hard to judge how good it was, and I think TP just made some silly mistakes kind of early on, and the game kind of spiraled out of control. I think Celesteela literally sat in on him for like 5 or 6 turns in a row with nothing really happening, besides his team slowly dying to it. So I don't have big thoughts about this game. I watched the TP YouTube video. He had some good ideas, some good thoughts on how he wanted to go about it. I see what Probopass was designed to do, but you know, in your mind, how you plan things and then actually playing them out aren't always the same. So sometimes you have to make adjustments on the fly. And it became quickly apparent that Probopass the set was not going to work, and Shaman was very happy just to click Calm Mind and try to stall you out. So just some thoughts. Reflect on it. Come back dangerous next week. TP, I got some faith in you that the U-turn team, the Volt term team, will claim some victories and get some wins here down the road. Anything you really want to cover else in this game?
Um, Not really. It really wasn't too memorable for me, so I think just looking for TP to come back strong next week. Who does he play?
I believe Gumi.
TP versus Gumi. That'll be a good one. Mark my words. That's going to be a really close game.
Yeah, bounce back game. Somebody's coming out with a victory. Someone's 0-2. You never want to start 0-2, but I have faith that that should be a good game. Both teams should come ready to play. Let's mention Shaman a little bit. Shaman, one of my early favorites to win the whole thing. Um,
Taking care of business
Taking care. I
5-0,
mean,
you know.
that's what you ask for. Really early in the season, TP. Everyone, TP himself doesn't think his team's that great. So let's see how he does next week versus someone who is, on the rise in my personal fandom here. In my opinion, the best game of the week: Seattle, Wisconsin, Lando, Mikey. What do you think about this game?
Oh, such a good game. I love you, Lando, but I was rooting for my boy Mike. Like I kind of recruited him to this league, and I was like, let's have some fun playing some Mons, and he's gotten so much better. And it's just been so nice to see. He was like 10 to 11% away from a victory, and oh man, oh so close. Really entertaining game. By far the best game of the week for sure. I don't think you would argue that.
No, but
Um,
I agree with you 100%, 100%. And again, obviously, Lando, no, he's the champ for a reason, and we'll talk about Lando a little bit here at the end. Um, Solid competitor. Always, it's not like I'm rooting against Lando, but when we have, when it's not me playing against them because I'm selfish, I generally root for like some of the lower tier coaches when they're playing anyone but Team Stealth Rocks. Um, but yeah, Mikey, dude, I don't know your relationship with Mons. I've never really talked to Mike in detail, in general or in DM. So maybe I'm just talking or barking up the wrong tree here, and you're just like, dude, I'm here to click some buttons, get some kills, and go home. But if you like to play more of if you get enjoyment out of playing competitive mons like me and Marv do, I think this is a game where you can learn a lot from. I know it's a loss, and you seem to be completely 100% fine with that, and that's really important. But this is a good loss in my opinion. This is a loss where you can walk away from. You know better now. You can here, okay, I'll try to let's reset here. Mikey, take 20, 30 minutes out of your day this week, out of this your next upcoming week. Watch this video back, watch the Lando match back, sit down with a notepad or a Word doc open. when it gets to key turns, maybe write down some thoughts. Why did I do this? What could I have done better? The thing with getting better at mines is you can't use hindsight bias. You can't be like, well, I know he had double scarfers, so I should have done X, Y, and Z different. Well, what information was Lando showing you? What decisions did you make based off that information? Did you miss something? Could you have done something differently? Because honestly, Mike, you're a turn or two away, or maybe a better way to put it, two different moves away, one different move away from winning this game. And if you can beat Lando, you can beat anyone else in this league. So, you know, your prep was solid. No obviously glaringly bad prep. Your play was solid. No obviously glaring mistakes, but you got to find a way to eke out, one slight more advantage, a little bit more advantage here, a little bit more advantage here. And you walk away with a 1-0 victory week 1 against one of the best players in the league. So, you know, what do you think about that? Do you have any kind of general advice? I want to see, makes me really excited for this Wisconsin team. If he can bring this kind of intensity each week, I'm really excited.
I think you pretty much, slammed that nail right into the piece of wood there with that hammer because you were bringing some truth. But I will say, I just want to shout out to that Cobalion set as a user of Cobalion. Bringing the rocks, best move in the game. That Rocky helmet, killing off the Diggersby, the close combat, with the Stealth Rocks chip, killing that Mega Septile. Just, perfect use of the Cobalion. But I just wanted to shout that out because I love Cobalion. But yeah, basically, Mike, you played really well, and only way to go. I see you going way up here, so
Yeah, it's a
put in that work,
yeah,
and the sky's the limit.
it's a tough schedule for sure. He's got Shaman next, so it doesn't
Ooh,
it doesn't get easier for him. But if you can beat Lando, you can beat Shaman. If you can beat Lando, you can beat me or Marv or anyone, to be honest. So you
even
know, don't
even
be
if you
don't be intimidated by
sorry,
who you're playing. Go ahead.
even if you do lose against Shaman here next week, even if you keep that differential low, you're still in a great spot for snagging a playoff seed here. It's you
It's
start 0
early
2, that's still nothing. A long season, -1 differential against one of the top players in the league, um, and then you take care of business. Maybe you sneak a win against Shaman, and you're one of the top threats.
For sure.
Look out for Mike, folks.
I agree. I agree. So we've just put a huge target on Mike's back. I hope he appreciates that. Last thing for Lando. Shout out to Lando. That not Trump. Garbador. Garbador made me laugh, Lando. Garbador made me laugh. That was good. I'll give you credit where credit's due. I'm sitting in the office, sneaking him on, replaying as I saw the game pop up in the feed. Physically,
Excessive is trash.
physically laughed, and people looked at me weird. Um, so it was really good. I want to point out, Lando, that plans within plans, Lando. I've thought about this long ago. I realized you would do something like this. And I think Marv knows what I've done. Don't worry, Lando. I've already got you back months ago. So you better be paying attention to that doc, because somewhere in there is a hidden gem just for you. So I'll leave you with that. I think Marv knows what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
plans within plans, Lando. I'm 2 steps ahead of you, bud. You ready to move on to power rankings?
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's go here. All right, power rankings, Shames PR. Thanks for getting these done early, man. It makes this video, we're recording it pretty early in the week due to work conflicts, so getting this PR out. Look who's at number 1. Team Stealth Rocks, Lincoln Lanterns represent. What do you think, Marv? What do you think? How do you feel about these top? Let's go top 4. You want to work from bottom to top or top to bottom?
Let's go top to bottom, and I'll start this off having been named number 1 by Shaman. I do thank you. I feel that it's undeserved. I don't want the spotlight upon me, but I will take it. I did take down one of the top competitors, so I do understand the logic. So I guess I will accept that. Now, I think Shaman should be at number 2, and I think he's being a little shy with himself there. Dominant 5-0 victory. Even against a return team, I still that 5-0 with the team that he has, even coming off the post-draft rankings, he should be at number 1 or 2, arguably.
I agree with you. I agree with
and
you.
then you could put Lando and Shy Crow at 3 and 4, respectively, for sure.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree. The top 1 through 4 are the right teams. Shaman should be higher, but again, the top four are the correct teams for being in the top four, in my opinion. I have no issue with any of these rankings. I think Shaman does a really good job with his analysis for the most part. Um, yeah, so 1 through 4, I'm solid with all of them. You could, I think you are fine at 1. Maybe you could put Shaman up there at number 1 because he dominated his opponent. I can see why he put you at number 1. It's early. You got to put someone up at the top. So let's do
Sure.
it. Lando, solid team, solid win. Yeah, that's good. 5 through 8. I guess there's only one issue I have with 5 through 8 is that Pittsburgh should be somewhere higher. I don't think Pittsburgh deserves to be at 9. Um,
That's what I was kind of thinking too.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know. Like Pittsburgh plays the number 1 ranked team, and again, the differential looks bad, but the game was closer than the differential. This is because based on the play style, how the game played out, this wasn't going to be some, you know, it was clear that one of you was going to break, and either that you were going to get stalled out by Pittsburgh, or you were going to break through Pittsburgh's defense and then eventually kill him, and that's what happened. So this setup of the game makes the differential look like it was a blowout, but I think Pittsburgh should be 5. Pick your spot 5 through 8, but
yeah,
you know,
maybe 7 or 8 or something like
something
that.
along
I
those
mean, I
lines.
see. I don't know. Mikey is at 5 at having lost a really close game. I don't know. I could see.
I would just bump Detroit and Chicago down like a few, and then swap Pittsburgh up to maybe like 7 or something like that. I would move
You
I
can't
would move
move up in
I move
them.
Canton up a little bit. I move Detroit and Chicago maybe down a little bit, and then slot in Pittsburgh after that. Like if you're gonna rank Mike for number 5 for a loss against one of the best teams, then rank Pittsburgh at ninth for one of the loss. But Shaman likes to evaluate. He just does more than win loss. He looks at the play. He really puts thought into these power rankings. So I'm not saying he's wrong by any stretch of the imagination. He does a really good job with these, and he has his reasons for sure. But that's my only big ones with 5 through 8. 9 through 12. Any thoughts?
Again, we mentioned that Adam should probably be bumped up there. And then I would probably swap TP and Gumi. Gumi played it was only 2-0 loss to Shy Crow with a really good team. So I wouldn't put Gumi down that far. I'd probably put TP down there losing 5-0. I'd probably put him last.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Gumi bump up.
I would,
Other than that, though, looks good.
I think Gumi should be top 4, but for how scathing, we were about his play in the game, he still lost 2-0. Like, yeah, he played. Both of us think he played suboptimally, and he still only lost 2-0. So obviously he did something right to keep the game relatively close. Or,
Exactly.
or maybe you could argue Shykro did something wrong, but then Shykro needs to be lower. So yeah, that's my kind of general feedback. I agree with those. Anything else about these power rankings? It's early in the season. You want to move on?
I just want to say it's after week 1, so this is kind of a take it with a grain of salt, but rankings are fun, so
For sure.
I'll
Gives
be
us something to
excited to
talk
see how
about
they
for
finish
sure.
up next week.
All right, game
All
of the
right, let's move
week.
on to the game of the week.
Game
All
of the
right,
week.
excessive.
I'm
You got
hyped.
this one.
Game of the week. This is the excessive, feature. We're gonna be more featuring it heavily here on the recap instead of me doing it in the. I might still post the slide, but I'm not prioritizing that. Game of the week. Seattle 1-0, coming into Gothberg, playing the Murkrows who are also 1-0. I'm really excited about this game. You got Lando. He's been here from the beginning. One of the original members. Season 2 champ. Playoffs, I don't think he's missed a single one. So if you want to prove that you belong in the NPBL, this is the type of caliber you're going to play when you play the top echelon teams. Some interesting things I kind of briefly looked at. Two of Shykro's lower tier kind of defensive mons, that Fortress and Quillfish, I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Yes.
Quillfish, were on Lando's roster last year, so if Lando should be pretty familiar with their capabilities, their move sets, what they can do, what they can't do. Um, so no excuses. You should be caught off guard. And like we mentioned, pride on the line. You got IBL people coming in here with TP and Shy Crow. Let's Lando. Let's show these guys what the MPBL is made of. I mean, on top of that, you got Shy Crow with a really good opportunity here to play. Former champion, season. Never missed a playoff game. If you're gonna be a playoff threat, you're gonna have to go through this kind of caliber of team. You gotta go through Lando. And then one other thing I wanted to kind of note with Shy Crow, we kind of meme on this. That all of us have different styles and stuff like that. We try to like cookie cutter and say, Gumi's the wall breaker and Lando's the U-turner and you're the setup guy. Obviously, that's not true. To 100% degree, people vary their play styles and stuff. But there are key tendencies, and I haven't seen enough, Shy Crow games, at least competitive Shy Crow games, to really get a sense of what he prefers, how he plays, what he's bringing each week. So that could be an advantage, that could not be an advantage, but everyone's gonna be watching you, Shy Crow. Everyone's got their eyes on you, so no pressure, bud. But you got Lando coming into your house trying to push you around. Any thoughts on this? What do you want to say about this exciting game of the week? Two
I
top
want
four
to.
power ranking top four matchup right here.
This has early playoff implications written all over it, and I want to see Shy Crow come in and shake up the NPBL because I think we need it a little bit. We need some of these newcomers to say, "Hey, I'm here and I'm here to stay. My name is Shy Crow and Alakazam coming at you." Because what are you going to do about that, Lando? I'll leave that up to you and your prep and whatnot, but I want to see this Mega Alakazam kind of set the tone, kind of rekindle our thoughts about who the best Mega is, because I think it could be Mega Alakazam. Boom.
I think it's
That's a Marv Bold prediction.
Marv Bold prediction. You heard it here, folks. Mega Alakazam, the best mon in the game. Because you know why? It comes in pre-evolved with Magic Guard, and what does that do? It makes it not weak to the best move in the game. So it does get some credit from me for that.
Absolutely.
All right, you ready, guys? Is everyone ready for the Marv's next feature, the playoff picture done by Marv? Here's what he sent for me this week for playoff picture. I'm clicking the button. Nothing's coming up here, guys. I'm gonna put my boy on blast a little bit. Thanks for doing your part in the prep in the video. Playoff picture, week 1, coming at ya. Marv doesn't know what's going on. You can't see through this orange and blue purple fog here. We have no idea what's in the future. So that's Marv's playoff picture right here. Do you want to go?
Get out my crystal ball and move the fog aside, because I've got some knowledge for you, folks.
Okay, no graphics for you, but here we go, boys.
Just kind of a quick recap of the playoff format for those not familiar with the NPBL playoff picture. But top 6 coaches go to the playoffs, with seeds 1 and 2 receiving the first round byes. I've got, in no particular order, but I do have myself, Excessive, Shaman, and Lando all making playoffs. But these other 2, I have my boy Rich squeaking into the playoffs, and I've got Mikey sneaking in there too.
Ooh.
Shy Crow is going to have a fall from grace, but he's going to make it real close. But I think there's going to be a little matchup, come the end of the season, where we're going to see some surprises. So,
all right then. So you're predicting
again,
an early playoffs?
What's that?
You're predicting a tight playoff race then?
Absolutely. It's going to be a little bit tighter this year than it has been in years past.
Yeah, I don't know about the Detroit making the playoffs, but we'll do our best to play spoiler, maybe sneak in as a low seed. Yeah, I think that's a good part. Next week, just send me a little bit of graphics, or at least the teams. I can at least put their logos on the screen for you, bud.
Yeah, I'll get around to that.
There you go. All right, guys, we're wrapping up here. Are you guys ready for Marv Reacts? Marv has not seen this slide before. I'm going to ask him 2 questions, sometimes Pokemon, sometimes not Pokemon related, and we'll give him approximately 10 seconds to answer. I'm not going to actually physically get a timer. This for fun. We're just seeing, how far the depth of Marv's knowledge goes, because this is a pretty smart guy we're talking to right here. Are you ready for Marv Reacts? Marv.
All right, let's get it.
All right. Name 4 Pokemons with Unaware in the game. I'm timing you here, boy. 1.
Bidoof.
2.
Quagsire.
3. 5 seconds.
And Salamence. That was a joke. I don't know.
So close, boy. How you missing Pukumuku? I brought it against you. Season 2 ATL. My Charizard switching. How you missing the boy Pukumuku?
I repressed that bad memory.
I'm surprised you remembered Bidoof. I had no idea Bidoof got unaware. That was the one
Oh,
I couldn't name.
I know about Bidoof.
Bidoof. So yeah, I thought you would get Quagsire, Pukumuku, and Clef, and then I didn't think you would get like Bidoof or Woobat. Like I freaking didn't know Woobat got or Swoobat, whatever. I don't know. I did not know that thing got unaware. But yeah, funny for you. So that was good. All right, next one. Name the city that's hosting the 2019 Super Bowl. So this year's Super Bowl.
Oh goodness.
Name the city that's hosting it. This
I'm gonna go with Phoenix.
Nope, it's in the south, but you're too far west.
Houston.
Uh, still much further east.
Hmm.
It's the dingus of America.
Atlanta.
There you go. Super Bowl will be hosted in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know. Has the Super Bowl playoff been decided at this point? I haven't watched any
Teams
football
are
this
playing
weekend.
today. We got the
Yeah,
Chiefs and the Pats. Go
yeah.
Chiefs.
I
And we
know.
got
I,
Saints
I,
and the Rams, folks.
I grew up in Michigan. You know, spoilers. Work for the University of Michigan. Do not like Tom Brady still. All right. Well, that's gonna be it, guys, for our first ever NPBL season 4, week 1 recap. Marv, any closing thoughts before you do the outro here?
I just want to say this. Week 2, it's going to be even better than week 1. You stay tuned, folks. And I just got some knowledge for you. Stealth Rocks. It's the best move in the game.